I never thought my son consuming an ice cream would be life-threatening. And that night, things escalated very quickly.
You need to know the risk. You need to know the dangers are out there to keep your child safe.
I was a new mum. I honestly thought that he was going to die. He wasn't responding. He was blue. He was floppy. It was hard. And to this day, I still get so affected. Even just talking about it upsets me.
My name is Marie, and I am a wife to my husband Vince and a mother to my two beautiful boys, Pasquale and Guy. My son Pasquale is currently 10 years old. He was diagnosed when he was 5 and he's anaphylactic to all nuts. It was a Wednesday night after school event. He had consumed a soft serve ice cream. We immediately just took him to the sick bay at the school. We were looking for Claritine and giving him Ventolin, but he was getting worse by the second. Our amazing school principal actually asked, is that red mark on Paz's neck, is that normal? I was just like, oh, what red mark? And I pulled open his hoodie and he had started breaking out, and it was that moment that I said he was having an anaphylactic reaction. So we ripped off the clothes, I pull out the EpiPen, I say to the principal, please call an ambulance. There was a support staff teacher, please find my husband. I lie Paz down on the bed in the sick bay and he immediately, we've never had to use an EpiPen. So he's just like, oh, no, like, what do we do? What is this? And I literally just said to Paz, you are going to be okay. I've got this. Just lie down and you are fine. You're safe. Like, you're in my hands, you're safe. In that moment, to go through that experience of Pasquale having an anaphylactic reaction is a parent's worst nightmare. I'm sorry. You bring your child into this world and your job's to look after them.
My name is Lisa Allen. I'm from Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. Have a husband, Stephen Allen, a son, Noah, who's 17, a daughter, Bianca, who's 15, and a son, Isaac, who just turned 12. When Isaac was diagnosed, I didn't know anyone that had allergies, and I had to search the internet for our people, to anyone that could understand or to get, and information wasn't as readily available as it is now. The allergy journey started when my son Isaac had an allergic reaction. I was completely naive to allergies. I had no prior knowledge, and I was cooking and I used the same tongs that I used to roast the cashews as I did for the meat, and I cross-contamination, and I fed the meat to Isaac, and suddenly his eyes started watering and he had a rash, just his eyes were swelling and a rash just broke down his face, and that was the first I knew about allergies. And we called an ambulance and took him to the hospital, and that's how our journey started. I was scared. I didn't understand what was going on, what could have caused it. I just knew my baby was sick.
My name is Brianne Shevlin. I have 2 children, aged 10, my daughter, and aged 8, my son, Dustin. So Dustin was around 8 months old. At that time, I was living in Kilmore. I tried to give him some formula. I had been breastfeeding him the whole time and thought it was time to move on and try and get him onto a bottle. I tried to give him formula. From here to here, all swelled up to 1. So I don't know if a few drops of the formula went onto his skin or he swallowed it. Like I said, he swelled up, went blue, went floppy. He wasn't really even responding to me at the time. I instantly felt sick. I honestly thought he was dying. This was all new to me. I didn't know what was going on. At the time I ran outside and I screamed out to my partner to call an ambulance. After a while he became more responsive. And like I said, I had never experienced anything like this. I felt, I thought he was dying. It was very, very scary.
My name is Dr. Sam Mayer. I'm a paediatric allergist immunologist. I work at the Royal Children's Hospital, also at Epworth. I've been in the field for probably more than 10 years now. I would want the general public to know about food allergy that it is increasing, that it causes an enormous burden to kids and the families and the schools as well, everyone who's looking after them.
My name's Sabina De Bono and I'm a head of school in Melbourne. There are a number of things that we do to keep our children with food allergies as safe as possible. I think that education is the key, and so obviously our staff are suitably trained, so they know the signs and symptoms to look for when it comes to an anaphylactic reaction, and they're confident in administering an EpiPen. Under the Ministerial Order 706, the anaphylaxis management in Victorian schools, as a school, you are required to develop your own school-based policy around the management of anaphylaxis. And the department also have guidelines to support schools in meeting their duty of care for students with anaphylaxis. It also outlines for the school what is our mandatory requirement here. And I encourage, like the department does at all schools, take their responsibility seriously and to mitigate that risk for our young people. It's not about an intolerance. It's not about a preference. This is life-threatening, and I believe if we all have that strong understanding, it would support all of us in understanding school decisions.
What I've noticed about food allergies or allergies in general is this definite increase, and particularly in this younger age group, and particularly of complex food allergies. So you'll see children now, much more than I can remember, who have multiple food allergies. That's including egg and milk and wheat, all at the same time.
He's allergic to milk, peanuts and eggs. He's also anaphylactic to all those 3 things as well.
And we were told that he was allergic to cow's milk, eggs and all tree nuts.
This is not a milk intolerance, but this is an immediate reaction to milk. We'll see it in children as well with wheat. Again, this is not about gluten intolerance or bloating with wheat. This is a life-threatening reaction to wheat and gluten allergen. It's about your immune system overreacting to that food when it shouldn't do. In a mild to moderate reaction, that's really about where your skin may react to the consumption of that allergen or your gut may react to it. Anaphylaxis is, again, it's an immediate reaction, but now we consider this to be life-threatening because now it's involving your respiratory system, your lungs, and or your cardiovascular system.
His lips swelled up. He became very lethargic, very pale. I could tell his heart rate had dropped. His eyes were very puffy. He was very drowsy upon his review with his allergist due to the severity of his reaction and how many injections he needed once the ambulance arrived. We now need to have 4 EpiPens on us at all times.
Dustin also had another anaphylactic reaction when he was around 5 years old. He had a store-bought cooked chicken. I picked up a different brand. He had an anaphylactic reaction and he swelled up, hives all over his face, also his hands. He was freaking out. We were all freaking out. It was actually the first time we had to actually give him an EpiPen. I actually didn't want to give him the EpiPen. I think I was still in shock what was going on, and my partner at the time gave him the EpiPen. We then obviously again had to call an ambulance. He then spent the night in hospital. It was scary.
An auto-injector is simply adrenaline that's delivered to you intramuscularly, so into your muscle, by a needle. In this country, we have 2 auto-injectors available to us. One is called an Anapen and one is called an EpiPen. And adrenaline is really the only therapy that works when you're having anaphylaxis.
Never having used an EpiPen, but having educated so many people around us, in that moment, my brain froze. And the catchy phrase, blue to the sky, orange to the thigh, I turned to our new principal, and in that moment, I said to him, I know it's blue to the sky and orange to the thigh, but this is blue, yeah? And that's the sky, yeah? And he's just like, yes. So just a reflection on how we all need to be practicing how to use an EpiPen.
So the first time I gave the EpiPen, I was terrified. Unfortunately, it wasn't the only time I've done it. And the next time he had an allergic reaction, I quickly grabbed the EpiPen and I gave it straight away. And the second time it was easier because, well, I knew it wasn't harmful. I knew that the last time I gave it, it helped. The swelling around the eyes lessened, he was less hot to touch. The hives were starting to slowly die down and fade, and I think I had more of a calm confidence that I know this is a device that works, and it works quickly and it's easy. Everyone should learn how to use an EpiPen. It could save someone's life. It could save my son's life.
Sometimes we forget about what these families go through to get their kids. Often these diagnoses are made from 6 to 12 months. So they're carrying all that burden, sometimes for the rest of their lives. They have to think about it 24/7. Every food preparation, they're thinking about it. Every time a kid's going to eat, they're thinking about it. Always there.
That's the thing with food allergies. It affects the whole family. It doesn't just affect the child with the allergies, it affects the entire family unit.
As an allergy parent, it's hard because I want him going to school and having a great day and not having to worry about what the kid sitting next to him has brought to school. And that's what non-allergy parents don't quite understand.
I'd get so annoyed at just the ignorance, we'll be fine. It's that those things really annoy me. No, he's not going to be fine. If he has a reaction to this, he can potentially die. The general public don't know when dealing with food allergies that the impact it can have on Dustin's even mental health. I find that I'm always worried. I find that I'm always worried about events coming up. I'm worried about even cooking at home. So even cooking at home, there's still that risk of Dustin having that reaction to, having our dinner or having dessert. There's always that risk of him still having a reaction.
I think it is really important that we acknowledge that it takes a great deal of trust and confidence for parents with children with severe allergy to leave their children in the care of the school. And I believe that it is so important for us to have those systems in place, awareness of the ministerial order, but also the guidelines, and be able to show the families how we are here each and every day to support their children. And I think their concern is extremely valid. And it's through tight communication and ensuring that we are proving, if you like, to them that we understand the severe risk, but also we have systems in place that we review continuously to ensure the safety for their child.
In an ideal world, I would love for him to grow out of his food allergies. But in a real world, he may have his food allergies for the rest of his life. And I want him to be confident and knowledgeable and empowered to share his story with other people, to help educate other people as well. Ideally, that's what I would like for him.
If there was a new parent that said to me, oh, my child's been diagnosed with allergies, my heart would be full of sympathy for them. And I'd say, you're about to go on a very steep learning journey. But there is a community of people out there who are the most supportive group of parents in the world, who will just embrace you. And there's a lot of information out there nowadays that you can find. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of support groups, and there's a lot of people who have walked the journey before you and will help you on the way.
Knowledge is power in this situation. You need to be onto all your packaging. You need to double check everything. Every time you do a supermarket shop, you need to double check those items because ingredients do change. I want you to know that you're not alone at all. There is a lot of children with allergies now. There is more awareness out there. There is groups that can help you. There's other mums, there's Facebook groups with other mums or dads who do have children with allergies, and that it's going to be okay.
I want people to know that food allergies are serious, and it's not to be dismissed or downplayed. They need to be acknowledged. There needs to be awareness. That's what I would love the community to know, that everyone needs to be educated on the severity of food allergies.